That's what I was tripping up about. And so I was like looking through the website and I'm like, all right, maybe it's like the national DSA versus the local DSA situation. I'm not sure. Um, but I always try to make sure that I'm looking at, organizations on the ground. All right, cool. We're good there. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, and then we're fine. Just working on switching some things up behind the scenes to make things a little bit more efficient, smoother. Let's change that. Actually, let's change that too. Give me 1 second, y'all, and then we'll get to it. I appreciate your patience. Appreciate y'all being here. All right, we'll do this. Awesome. That should do it. And we should be good. Awesome. Let's get to it. Of course, one last thing. Awesome. Here we go. Pop that chat out. And we're set. Yeah, Emblem Faith over there, Deculturation Live. Appreciate you keeping it alive over there. So with OBS, every time I set up a new stream, even though I'm dual streaming we could turn this on now. Even though I'm dual streaming, when I initially set up the stream, it will only alter and change things from my main YouTube channel and not Twitch or Deculturation Live. So it's always a bit of a drag. If it looks like I'm lagging, it's because I'm rushing to fix that and address it. I should be better at this point at moving, but like everything else, growing pains, Actually, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. No, it's gonna bother me. All right. That should be good. I hope. I think. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Let's get to it. Appreciate the patience, y'all. Let's get to it. That should be fine. We'll figure it out later. All right. You know what? I can't, bro. Let's get to this. God damn, this food's pathetic. Starting off with this counterinsurgent propagandist.
Everybody else tune out of the broadcast. This is just between me and Big Gav. Gruesome. Governor Gavin Newsom. It's just you and me.
This is so pathetic. He is online begging to interview Gavin Newsom. He's trying to be tongue in cheek about it, gruesome. This is just me and you. Like, he is, if he's doing this publicly, understand that Hasan Piker is begging Newsom's team, people that he knows, that know Newsom privately, to go on his stream. We are witnessing a multi-millionaire grovel to be the PR, applying to be a PR agent to manage Gavin Newsom's leftward turn. That's what he's doing here. He is begging, publicly begging to help rehabilitate Gavin Newsom's image. Do you think for a moment that Hasan Piker, who has claimed that Zionists shouldn't even be allowed to be the local dog catcher, will turn right around and glorify Bernie Sanders, offer him gift after gift, embarrassing himself for a Zionist, a lifelong Zionist? Do you think for a moment that he's actually going to press Gavin Newsom in any substantial manner? Of course not. Of course he isn't. But we have to play the game, right? The facade that he is the spokesperson for the left, because we never know whether he's a socialist, a communist. We never know whether he's a democratic socialist. We never know whether he's a populist. It always alters depending on the platform and the political, environment, atmosphere at the moment. Bro, I need y'all to understand. He does not need any of this. Financially, he does not need Gavin Newsom. But he is so desperate to be influential within the Democratic Party, so desperate to be taken seriously by the establishment, that he's willing to grovel to Gavin Newsom. Please, he said, let me be your PR manager. Let me sell you to this young generation. Let me sell you and lie on your behalf the way that he's lying for Grant Platner. We're going to double back and show you how he lied about Grant Platner. And this is his role, his job. Just like his Zionist hero, Bernie Sanders, has been the sheepdog as an independent for the Democratic Party, refusing to run as an independent, run on third party. The first time when he got cheated out and the DNC said, hey, we are a private organization. We can pick and choose whoever the hell we want. Go read the court documents. What does Bernie do? Run again with the Democratic Party. But this time, it's his good friend Joe. It's his good friend Joe. Because Bernie knew that Joe Biden was always going to be a devoted Zionist. So it's all good. He didn't care. He wasn't worried about what Donald Trump was going to do. In fact, he was on Tim Dillon's show applauding Trump's border and immigration policy until some white folks got. That's when Bernie said, we've gone too far. We've gone too far. Now it's affecting white people. Can you believe it? Oh, the humanity. So now we're going to see the rehabilitation of Newsom. Mind you, Newsom did not even call the Zionist entity an apartheid state. He did the same shit that AOC did when she was unwilling and not given permission to call it a genocide. Some people are calling it a genocide. Some people are using that word. Newsom is like some people appropriately are calling it an apartheid. He even says Friedman is calling it an apartheid. He just denied the genocide with Ben Shapiro. But you see the machine slowly turning, because at the end of the day, no matter who it is, whether it's Holocaust Harris, Genocide Joe, as his brain is rotting away, Hasan Piker will push his audience to vote for the Democratic Party. Now, he won't full out endorse somebody and say, oh, this is my presidential, pick, please go vote for them. He won't do that. That will spoil the image, the facade, the kayfabe. But he'll do everything but that. He'll go to the DNC. He'll smear third parties. He'll continue pushing this line about viability. Oh, they're just not viable. Third parties are just not viable. Yeah, because you kind of have to vote for them and you kind of have to support them instead of smearing them on behalf of the Democratic Party. That's how they become viable. That's how any third party becomes viable, by pushing them. by advocating for them. So understand that this whole viability thing is just an excuse. Let's hear more of the groveling.
Everybody else tune out of the broadcast. This is just between me and Big Gav. Gruesome. Governor Gavin Newsom. It's just you and me right now, baby. Listen to my voice. You want to make this pivot to the left? You know where to come. Okay? You know where to come.
I'm going to come.
Come to me, Gavin. Come to me. Let's have a conversation. I am.
This guy's almost 40. And you expect me to believe that he's no longer the bro tips guy? You expect me to believe that he's no longer the guy questioning the age of consent?
Sincerely interested in seeing what you're about. You've been my governor for as long as I can remember. I've paid a lot of taxes in this fucking state, okay? I make a good amount of money here. I'm asking you not just as a tax-paying citizen, but as someone who wants to really understand where you're coming from. Now that you are pivoting as a radical visionary, singing the praises of Yahya Sinwar.
If you want to know why I hate him, I could give you a laundry list. But moving forward, this is going to be my number one example. Now, while he's doing this whole bit groveling, of course, he's trying to, save some dignity in front of his audience by being a little sarcastic. But he's groveling. He's groveling for an interview. But to use Sinwar's name, I mean, a martyr that will go down in history and should be seen as somebody that we should all aspire to be, to have his dignity, his resolve, and his solidarity for his people, when he could have been, as he was accused to be, which would have been strategically the smart thing to do, hiding out somewhere, giving directions, giving orders. He was out on the front lines time and time again, risking his life, fighting till his dying breath. When you saw the video, that drone footage, if you didn't shed a tear, if you weren't inspired, I don't know what to tell you. No amount of theory is going to do it. No amount of theory is going to do it. That is something that Hollywood can never depict. It is the essence of the human spirit captured by this fucking cybernetic death machine. And Hasan Piker, the character Hasanabi, tells you who he is by using Sinwar's name mockingly. I mean, I guess it's true. Nothing is sacred, right? And I'm not here to glorify or put any man above criticism. But there's a thing, called respect. Has Sinwar not earned that? But what would you expect from someone who will brag about covering the plight of the Palestinians? That he's been doing it for years before October 7th. And turn right around to start a business. To start a news commentary venture with a known Zionist family. And before October 7th, he was trying to launder the Zionism of Ethan and Gila Klein being an IOF veteran. He was wearing, rocking, and styling her disgusting clothing line, Teddy Fresh. An IOF clothing line because he knew that his audience was uneducated on the topic. And so he could get away with it. This is an unprincipled opportunist. There's a reason why he's the largest political commentator. You think if he had integrity, he'd be as large as he is? You think if he was principled, you would have all these Democratic politicians showing up at his doorstep? And those that don't need him, he begs for? He begs and grovels so much that he is smearing the name of Sinwar. And understand that is letting Gavin Newsom and his team know, hey, I don't give a fuck about Palestinians. I voted for Holocaust Harris in California. In California, please someone tell me, what is the significance of voting for the Democratic Party in California of all places? Please someone explain it. Break it down for me. Let me know. I don't understand it. There's no logic behind that. Of course, unless all you are is a Democrat. These people that call themselves the leftists, whether it's the leftist mafia, the Majority Report, understand they are the center left of the Democratic Party. What does it mean to be the center left of a genocidal party? What does it mean to be center left of a genocidal party? It means you're our fucking enemy. It means you are the enemy of the colonized proletariat. You should be treated as such. You should be viewed as such. Every interaction with you should be in accordance to viewing you aligned with capital, aligned with these corrupt politicians, aligned with white supremacy in all its forms, Zionism included. That's how we need to view these people. This groveling, as hilarious as it is, says a whole lot more. And it does feel like, am I just too much of a hater? Am I just being too petty? Am I reaching? But the moment that Sinwar's name came out of his fucking mouth, shit like that should be unforgivable. Shit like that should be unforgivable.
I need to hear from you. Okay? I need to hear from you, Gav. The view count is going up. I told you guys to leave. You're still in here. You're coming in. You're tuning in. Now that you saw me talking personally, this is between me and Gavin. Okay? Gavin, come to the broadcast. You just did the Adam Friedland show. Many people call that the millennial Bill Maher. Come on the millennial Jon Stewart. Let's have a discussion. You're hanging out with the Pod Johns?
$2026. And to compare yourself to the Zionist Jon Stewart, who was just on mocking Iran? Zionist Jon Stewart, who had Peter Beinart, the so-called poster boy of liberal Zionism, and they were both celebrating reclaiming the Jewish identity, censoring themselves, while the Zionist entity, in the name of Judaism, was massacring and committing a genocide of Palestinians. That's who you're comparing yourself to? That's who you're comparing. I mean, if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know. And of course, Adam Friedland was crying to Richie Torres. Oh, I have some family in the Zionist entity. It's tough for me too, you know. Adam Friedland, who's a notorious racist. Of course, he's buddies with Hasan Piker. Of course. That's what I meant. You don't think Hasan's begging everyone that knows Gavin Newsom in front of the camera behind the scenes for this interview? That it drove him to this? To this public groveling?
I hang out with the Pod Johns. You hang out with Adam Friedland. I hang out with Adam Friedland. You hang out with the lemonade stand podcast. I will be hanging out with the lemonade stand podcast. I'm just saying, Gav, get on the team, baby.
He's saying, I'm safe, bro. He's saying, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. I'm in the club. Understand this. Hasan Piker is communicating to Gavin Newsom and to his team. I am safe to talk to. This is why I can't stand the Destinies, the Hutches, right? That's why I can't stand them. Because they uplift Hasan Piker's character as a socialist, as a communist. They call him a Marxist-Leninist. And so they feed into this character. And it sounds like, no, you have to understand, Gavin. I'm an opportunist. I'm here for clout. I'm here for recognition. Because he already has the millions. He already has the millions. And even then, he refuses to get off his ass and organize. And even then, he refuses to get off his ass and demonstrate what it means to be a socialist, a communist. There's countless of organizations. There's countless of desperate people. In the place that he chose to gentrify, Los Angeles, he's in West Hollywood. There are countless of places that he could be directly demonstrating to his audience, tens of thousands, that you pray with your fucking feet. But that will require him to have sincere beliefs.
Adam is Hasan's friend. Gavin, you'll be safe. That's right.
His audience said it for him. Gavin, you'll be safe. Hasan confirms it. That's right. It is pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. And by the way, Gavin Newsom didn't call it an apartheid state. And he also, as we covered before, put a fucking target on Hamas, the Palestinian resistance forces. Talking about the Hamas question. What do you think he means by that? The Hamas question. It means, how are we going to eradicate resistance? That's what he's wondering. How are we going to eradicate resistance?
On the Democratic Party side, you have Graham Platner.
Wrong video, my bad.
About that. So the first rationale was we've got to make sure that they're not armed a nuclear arm. But we, of course, that rationale I thought was resolved, meaning we had completely obliterated their sites. And so that was the first rationale. Then, okay, so, well, maybe that wasn't the case, but now it's about their missiles. And they can perhaps hit the United States. And then you realize, wait, that's a decade plus away, if that. So that's BS. Okay, then it's about their militias. It's about their proxy. Then it's about their Navy. And then it's in response to the likelihood that that Israel was going to. So we had to go in ourselves. And then you hear Hexet, God help us. His rationale or non-rationale. So this is Keystone Cops. But playing with real lives, with our reputation. They've already, so you see what's happened to our allies, you see what's happened in the NATO alliance in the context of truth and trust and the conversations that all of our allies are having now with India and with China as they're strengthening those relationships because they're starting to decouple or de-risk their.
Again, understand that with the Democratic Party, AOC was just doing this recently. What they're pitching is, hey, the way that Trump is running the empire is inefficient. That is their argument. Not that they're going to stop empire. Not that they're going to stop funding, financing, and protecting terrorism and genocide abroad. That's not their argument. The argument is we could do it more efficiently and effectively. That's always been their argument.
Election coming up. You got it appropriately, sort of an apartheid state.
Sort of an apartheid state.
I mean, Freeman and others are talking about it appropriately, sort of an apartheid state.
Friedman and others are talking about it appropriately. Sorta an apartheid state. So already distancing himself by saying Friedman and others are talking about it appropriately. And even further distance, sorta of an apartheid state. That's all it fucking took to have Hasan Piker publicly grovel and smear Sinwar's name. If you think I'm exaggerating, if you think I'm reaching, you think I'm being performative, then you don't understand what Sinwar should mean to us, to this generation. You don't understand how fortunate you are to be alive when he was alive. We weren't around for Ernesto Che Guevara. We weren't around for that. We weren't around for so many revolutionary heroes. And yet we honor and we uphold them. We uplift their image, their actions, their teachings. And we're fortunate to have lived at the same time that Sinwar lived. And we're going to let this shit slide. It is pathetic that we can't even, have any consequences for smearing what should be considered our heroes, our revolutionary figures, symbols, inspiration, role models. And he's smearing them through the fucking grave. All for an interview with somebody that said, sorta, kind of, some people are calling it appropriately, maybe an apartheid state. But of course, he immediately has to do what? He has to, Gavin Newsom, talk about the Hamas question. Translation, what about those unruly, savage natives? What are we going to do about them? That's the question that we should be focused on. How do we stop and how to prevent armed resistance to settler colonialism?
They couldn't even, we're talking about regime change. For 2 years, they haven't even been able to solve the Hamas question.
For 2 years, they haven't even been able to solve the Hamas question. For 2 years, that's a weird way of phrasing, of describing or avoiding naming a genocide. What was happening in those 2 years? What was happening in those 2 years? What would you call those 2 years? You'd call it a genocide. But Gavin Newsom does not recognize it as such. And Hasan Piker knows, he knew very well that he needed to smear, mock Sinwar's name to demonstrate to Gavin Newsom and his team that he does not give a fuck about the Palestinian struggle at all. He never has. He never has. Y'all go ahead, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell if you want to know when I go live. That's Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. You want access to Discord, join the Patreon. The Cash App is out. Super chat, super stickers, all there. Who gives a fuck? Get busy in the chat, y'all. Let me know how off the mark I am. Maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe I'm just a hater. But I'd rather be that than whatever the fuck Hasan Piker is. The Lizard. You failed to understand what the project of this channel is and why it came to be. I'm not here to claim that I'm a fucking revolutionary. I'm not here to claim I understand theory in and out. I'm not here to claim that I'm doing anything fucking worthwhile. What I'm here to do is to hate and expose opportunists. That's what I'm here to do. What I say and what I do is not going to affect the Democratic political party. It's not going to affect the Republican Party. But I want to be on the fucking record that these opportunists like Hasan Piker, Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland, Anna Kasparian, Cenk Uygur, Cal, KKK Kalinske, Crystal Ball, the leftist mafia. I want there to be a fucking record of their opportunism. That's what I want. That's what I'm here to do. If you want somebody to break down some things on a higher level, on a higher plane, there's a whole lot of other platforms that I'm always shouting out to do that. I'm not here to do that. I don't know if I'm able to do that. But what I know for a fact is I'm able to be a fucking hater, bro.
I voted for Kamala Harris. You got a problem?
That's what I know for a fact. What I know for a fact is that I can smell bullshit a mile away. And these motherfuckers and their stench, their European stench, has overwhelmed these spaces. It's not my fault that these motherfuckers are lying through their teeth every other fucking day.
Outside of my race.
I'm just saying, you're more than welcome, homie, but know where you're at. Know what the event is. Know what the party is all about, homie. We're here to act a fool, bro. If these people don't make you as disgusted as they make me, I understand that, and I'm jealous of you. I am. But knowing that these are the figures and the people that all these young people are tuning into, if that doesn't at least frighten you, I don't know what to tell you. It's unsettling, bro. I used to put some of these people in the background. And then I stopped and I started paying attention to what they were saying. And I was like, holy fucking shit. These are counterinsurgent propagandists. They're fucking smooth operators. They really are. They're great at what they fucking do. The Majority Report, Sam Cedar, has been able to build a reputation of integrity, of allyship with marginalized communities, like almost nobody else on the internet. And he's a straight up fucking Zionist. And it's so blatant that it makes me feel fucking crazy, bro. It's so blatant that he will tell Hasan Piker, I neither call myself a Zionist or an anti-Zionist. It is so blatant that he can say, I don't think the Zionist entity should disappear. I don't understand it. Like, I truly don't get it. And so if it seems like I harp on this too much, it's because I'm not hearing anyone else call this shit out. Most people, to their credit, are concerned about more serious things. And I can admit that. So I'm blue in the fucking face. I'm brown, so I won't get blue, but you know, purplish, right? Light reddish purple thing going on. And that's one of the reasons why I hesitated to monetize any of this. Really sincerely. Cause I'm like, well, I'm just yapping, bro. All right, we need to lock in because I do have a hard out once again. The car is finally fixed, y'all. Thank you for the support, the help, the assistance. I cannot tell you that whatever reservations I had, that immigrant mentality that's imposed even on the first generation, to not ask for handouts, no seas un pediche, no pidas limosna, all these things. I want to thank all of you that have supported through the Patreon, through the super chats. I do not know how I would have made it through this incident without y'all's support. So sincerely, I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Definitely a hater, but the best and most necessary kind, not off the mark at all. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Sometimes I'm afraid I might get lost in the sauce of hatred, that I might get stuck in Pettyville, AKA, yeah. I thank you for the super chat so much. Appreciate it. Espresso Depresso. We love to be petty here. Yes, we do. Appreciate it. That toe, Trump is doing an illegal war and libs are sorting out about a hypothetical war to save Taiwan. Yeah, man. I mean, you saw a lot of from fucking AOC to that, we all come in different colors and shapes and sizes. Palestinian homegirl that's, whiteness sometimes transcends so much. Andy, both parties should definitely be held accountable. But the thing is, and to their credit, the majority report, Hasan Piker, they do a fairly decent job at calling out the Republican Party because it's to their right and it's easy for them to do that. Understand that I'm talking to people to my right. I'm criticizing people to my right. So I'm doing what they do. They just happen to be the first people to my right. All right. So we're gonna stick on this subject just a little bit longer. My apologies. Let me see if I could adjust the screen though here. I think. Okay, I know what I did wrong. I changed some stuff to make the chat a little bit more visible. All right, let's keep it pushing so that we don't have to be on this topic for too long. Actually, what if I do this? And then I could expand it. Yeah, that's fine. Who gives a fuck? There we go. That's somehow better, I think. Maybe just a little bit. My apologies. I was messing with this behind the scenes and I kind of messed up something good that I had going on, but you got to try and got to grow. This is what I'm talking about. This is the flat out lie. I emailed Maine's DSA because I needed an answer to this. We sped run this yesterday. Then we'll wrap up the Hasan Piker section here.
Who was infinitely closer in his campaigning. On the Democratic Party side, you have Graham Platner, who was infinitely closer in his campaigning and his policies and everything that he's saying now, rather than whatever fucking Reddit post you read from however many years ago.
You love this vagueness. How many years ago? Homie, the issue is that Graham Platner was a grown-ass fucking man. The continued infantilization of white men is part and parcel what led us to this fucking society. Boys will be boys is only applicable to white men because black and brown men are just that, men. They don't get to be boys. We don't get that privilege. But white men are forever just boys. Oh, they're just innocent. They don't know any better. Those Reddit posts about him being racist and sexist and embracing the love for the death and destruction that he inflicted upon the people of Afghanistan and Iraq in Graham Platner. Oh, they were so long ago. They weren't that fucking long ago. They really weren't. A couple of years. See, once you start getting older, the significance and what things can change within those time frames become less and less. 5 years to somebody already in their 30s, which Grand Platner was. They go like that. They go like that. Now, if you're a teenager, yeah, sure, that it might take a little bit longer. But here's the thing: Grand Platner, as a teenager, protested the Iraq War, graduated, took a little vacation like rich boys do, and then joined the Marines. Despite his parents, his affluent parents, a small business owner and a lawyer, telling him not to. So again, this whole idea, like Grand Platner would just, oh, he just doesn't know. He doesn't know any better. It was so long ago. Let him change. Let him grow. It's complete another bullshit. He was a grown-ass fucking man. A grown-ass fucking man. But white men get a pass. Forever, they're allowed to make mistakes and be fucking grown-ass man babies.
Okay? Versus Janet Mills. That's why I kept jokingly saying, I'm Pills Mafia. I'm a janitsary. To help you come to terms with that reality that maybe you sound kind of fucking stupid. If that's a fucking deal breaker for you, so be it. I don't give a shit.
If enlisting in the Iraq War when you knew was bullshit is a deal breaker for you, if re-enlisting and extending your time in hopes of going to invade Afghanistan next is a deal breaker for you, if becoming a mercenary is a deal breaker for you, if getting a Totenkopf SS Death Skull, not because you're a neo-Nazi apparently, but because you want to brag and honor the death and carnage that you inflicted upon the people of Iraq and Afghanistan, if you're buddies with some white supremacists who's over here talking about Valhalla, if that's not that's not a dog whistle, that's a full-on fucking horn. If that's not enough for you, then I think you might be fucking stupid. But you see the way that he talks to the people in his chat, the people that in his community. This is some weird parasocial shit. That the more you dismiss, the more you offend, the more you talk down to your audience, to your viewers, to your supporters, the more they glorify you, because this is the type of society we've been conditioned to accept. There's a reason why Donald Trump in The Apprentice was a fucking asshole and we all loved it, right? We all love seeing that shit. You're fired and we applaud that shit. We were rooting for the boss. We were rooting for the villain. And that conditioned us, or at least enough of us, to when he ran as a Republican, immediately smearing the Mexican community after having a long history and track record of being anti-black, of being a racist. So many people applaud it because they've already been conditioned to root for that type of villain, that type of character. Make no mistakes, the fucking parallels with Hasan Piker and Donald Trump are plenty. And now he talks down to people who dare criticize him, or God forbid the Democratic Party. You see that shit come out. He's already been pushing the Hasan derangement syndrome. Same bullshit the reactionaries were pushing. Donald Trump derangement syndrome. Cult leading 101. Critical thought, critique, yup. Absolutely. You gotta fucking talk down to your subordinates. You gotta ridicule them. I mean, it's sick. It's fucking sick. And this type of communication, run that shit in real life, homie. Go to an organization space and talk to people that disagree with you, who are criticizing you from your left. Talk to them in this manner. Fortunately for you, a lot of people are real fucking nice in these spaces. Even if you may disagree, even if you don't align politically, most people are going to be cool and chill. All right, we disagree and move forward. We don't got to talk. We don't have to organize together. We don't got to work together. It is what it is. We'll be cordial. That's why I'm quiet most of the time in these spaces. I don't fuck around with that shit. I'm just gonna take a step back and be like, cool, y'all do you. I'll be here when you need me to fucking put up the chairs and help pack up. Because if you talk to me like this, bro, I got too much self-respect. Maybe that's why I was never a fan of his fucking content. Besides that, it's fucking boring as shit. Empty chair after empty chair.
Okay, gladly wrecking the DNC until the day I die. No, I think his experience was working at Abu Ghraib, and the mass tattoo is what makes people say that. Okay, none of you can vote for him anyway, so it doesn't even matter. And
you don't know how much of your audience that is responding to you on this specific topic is actually from Maine. Are you running their fucking IPs? What are you doing? The deflection is pathetic. AKA, you used to think that Bad Empanada did that whole content for the audience thing to discourage parasocial weirdness. But yeah, over time, it's clearly just cultivating an even weirder strain. 100%. 100%, bro. And it's sick to, again, like, if you say this shit out loud, if you're like, hey, you know, he's doing this to make sure that those that stick around are true fucking believers. Real fucking shooters, you know what I mean? If you say that shit, you're like, oh, you're ridiculous. No. He doesn't want that type of fan. And yet that's all he has. There's a reason why when I criticized them, immediately I got threatened that they were gonna contact my exes. Homie, I don't move like that, dog. I keep to myself for most of the time when it comes to shit like that. I don't have, that's just, soy perro, way, but not like that. Not like that. You know, I am very fucking flattered and happy and grateful. But I always do a fairly decent job at ending things on good terms. If I liked you, if I loved you, I want nothing but the best for you, whether I'm with you or not. Whether we're on the journey together or not, I want the best for you. That's just me. So those threats don't fucking work. But immediately, Bad Empanada's audience was already threatening to contact. In other words, dox me, bro. For one criticism.
And everyone that was going to vote for him that lives in Maine is going to vote for him regardless. I'm talking about something entirely different. Also,
yeah, because Maine is like the widest fucking state in the country. You think they give a fuck? You think they give a fuck about white supremacy?
So you're not fucking wrecking the DNC. You're not wrecking shit, okay? You're not. You're not wrecking anything. You're not. You're not wrecking the DNC by literally aligning with fucking Neera Tanden. At some point, you have to stop and think, take a deep breath and go, I wonder why all of the DNC operatives are going after this fucking guy. Just think for one moment why you and Neera Tanden on God's green earth are fucking aligned on this issue.
Yes, there is internal struggle within the Democratic Party. Wow. My enemy's enemy is not my fucking friend. That's like basic ass shit. I don't even think that made it to the fucking art of war. It's so fucking simple. If I don't fuck with you, it's because I don't fuck with you. I don't care who does or who doesn't fuck with you. That's irrelevant to me. We could have the same fucking friend group. Guess what? I still don't fuck with you. You could laugh at all my fucking jokes. Guess what? I still don't fuck with you. I don't care who you're cool with. I don't care who you know. I don't care who you have beef with. All right? We could share a fucking common enemy. And guess what? I still don't fuck with you. Because my issues are with you. Not with who you know. Not with who you're around. Not with who you got a problem with. But with you. I don't give a shit about the smoke screen and the mirrors. That might distract other people, but not me. No, I fucking lock in. My hatred is true and fucking pure. That's why I'm stingy with it. I don't hate a lot of motherfuckers. I don't. So feel honored and privileged when you got my hatred, because believe me, nothing is going to distract me.
Does that not give you pause? Why is it that it's you, Jewish insider, AIPAC lobbyists, Neera fucking Tanden, every establishment Democrat, and Chuck Schumer are on the same side of this fucking story?
Oh man, that's cute. That is fucking cute. That is fucking adorable. That is fucking adorable, man. Just the way that he hypes this shit up. Or is the fucking bulwark over here? Let me show y'all a little something. Let me show you why this falls like just flat on its face. Look at this shit, man. Now this is my bad. I thought I had it queued up. My apologies here. But we'll pull it up because it was up here for a sec. From the bulwark.
If we're not allowed.
So we have Gallegos. Ruben Gallegos. Look what he has to say. We're doing this whole association thing. Look what he has to say.
And by the way, I'm supportive of Israel and its right to exist. It has the right to exist as a Jewish state.
Guess who he just endorsed? Guess who he just endorsed, bro? Please, if we're doing this association bullshit, which is just meant to distract, guess who he just endorsed? And I believe it's at 106, if I'm not mistaken. $107.
Politics things. You endorse Graham Platner.
This wasn't politics?
No, campaign politics.
Okay,
bro.
got it.
Like dork politics.
Got it.
You endorsed Graham Platner.
Yeah.
In the Maine Senate race, and he's in a primary. Janet Mills, sitting governor. There have been a couple of people nagging you about that. Part because Platner has some controversies around the tattoo that he covered up, and he was on some podcast with a guy that does some anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. And one guy wrote, Michael Cohen wrote that between your critiques of Marco and endorsing Platner, this leaning into this anti-Israel stuff, how do you respond to that criticism?
I mean, it's. I guess you just can't appease anybody because I also endorse Haley Stevens and Angie Craig, right? And I was accused by the left of being in the pocket of Israel. First of all,
explain those three endorsements.
You're being endorsed, Grant Platner. You're being endorsed by somebody who believes not only that the Zionist entity has a right to exist, but as an ethno state at that. Not even doing this whole equal rights shit. No, he's like, yep, ethno supremacist state. I'm all for it. So what does it mean through this fucking logic or illogic that Hasan Piker is pushing? That if all these people are against you, then I gotta support you. Well, I'm looking at the people supporting you. By that logic, should I not be against him? When you have Gallegos, a Zionist supporter, endorsing you? It gets better. We're going to go a little bit out of order here, but fuck it. Look at this shit, man. Senator Gallegos says he'll vote to fund Iran conflict. Why would Gallegos endorse Grant Platner, an anti-war candidate, if he's over here saying he'll fund the war against Iran? Martin says Ruben Gallegos got $1,750,000 by AIPAC, according to AIPAC Tracker. So that puts into question, why would Grant Platner brag about having an AIPAC funded endorsement? I don't know. I think that's fucking weird. Isn't that strange? We'll get back to this. Don't worry. We'll get back to that. Don't worry. Oh, we'll get to all this. But I'm just trying to say that logic doesn't make any sense. Espresso Depressed on the Twitch chat. The way Carlos keeps receipts is kind of scary. LOL, keep it up. To me, the frustrating part is like, I have a job, bro. I do union work. Not enough, not good enough, but I do some of it. And yet I could fucking look up and find out who's who. Because I give a shit. Because I'm not here trying to sell you anything other than what I believe to be the truth. So I got receipts, and I've been saying it since day one. We can hate, but we got to have the evidence. We got to have the receipts. Because when somebody comes around here, be like, oh, these fools just hate Hasan Piker. These fools just hate Sam Cedar. These fools just hate the online left. I can show you why it is. Look, I don't like these people personally. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here saying that this is not personal to me in some weird fucking way. I'll tell you how it's personal to me. It's personal to me because I used to listen to the Majority Report. In fact, I subscribed to TYT to listen to the Majority Report because I was broke college student, and I was like, hey, financially speaking, why would I subscribe to the Majority Report and just get their content when I could subscribe to TYT, because it's back when they were an affiliate, and get everything TYT offers and the Majority Report, which is what I wanted. And funny enough, I thought at the time that by getting this Majority Report, I would be getting Michael Brooks' show, because he had more of an, he would emphasize or have more emphasis, on international politics. So I was like, dope, more bang for your buck. Let me go with this. You didn't get the Michael Brooks show, so shortly after I canceled it. So they've got my money. Bernie Sanders, I didn't donate to his first campaign. I was like, no, I don't buy it. But then he got screwed over by the DNC. He runs again. I'm like, all right. If the DNC was screwing him over, there might be something here. I donate some money. I'm a blue collar, working class, first generation, brown man. Was not born into money. I spend my money on stupid shit because I have no, I don't want to upset Dr. Ball, but I have no financial literacy. I'm getting better. You're kind of forced to as you get older. Once you realize, like, oh shit, I'm not going to die young. Maybe I should start preparing and actually funding the 401k. Maybe I should pay off some credit cards instead of thinking I'm just going to take that shit to my grave. So you start learning. But these fools owe me money, bro. And I know I'm not going to get my money back. So that's a thorn on my side, an itch that it can never scratch. But I feel like I got played. I feel like I got. I fell for the fucking ruse. So it is personal. I was not a former Bernie bro. I'll tell you that much. I was just like, all right, you might be legit. But I remember recording a video when I've always played with this, doing this shit in my head in one form or another. I'm a yapper. Because when I was in high school, I saw fools with Obama t-shirts that, respectfully, to quote the Boondocks, like, can you name me the 3 branches of government? And they couldn't. So I was like, what's going on with this shit? So the first time Bernie came around, I was like, I'm not buying this. But he did objectively get screwed over by the DNC. So I was like, all right, maybe he's really about it. But then his Zionist homie ran, and suddenly you saw who he really was.
There is no magical third-party candidate out there in this fucking seat with actual electoral viability.
And that is his new favorite slogan, electoral viability. Viability. That is how he excuses his continued support for the Democratic Party, his entryism that is an entryism, That's how he excuses smearing the Green Party, who the Democratic Party is consistently using legal means in the courts to keep them off the ballot. That's how he excuses the fact that he won't platform the PSL, regardless of your criticisms of them. Even somebody like the PSL is too much for Hasan Piker because it threatens his relationship with the Democratic Party.
I am not repeating the lesser evil talking points because this isn't fucking lesser evil. If Kamala Harris came out with I said this at the time, if Kamala Harris came out with Grant Platner's platform, I would be door knocking for her. I would be slamming my head into every fucking door I possibly can. If Kamala Harris came out with Grant Platner's platform, Donald Trump wouldn't be fucking president right now. Shut the fuck up. God, I hate the left so much.
He is conditioning his audience to hate anyone that is critical, that is unwilling to fall in line with the Democratic Party and support the outward embrace of a white supremacist in Grant Platner. I don't know about you, but my brown ass does not need so many fucking red flags to realize that you are a danger, a threat to my safety, to my people's safety, to my community's safety. One look at Grant Platner, I already knew we got a fucking trucha. Watch out for this one. Got a big old fucking desk on his chest to honor the death and destruction that he inflicted upon the people of Iraq and Afghanistan. You're out of the party. You're out of the party. I don't give a fuck what's going on. You're out of the party. For my safety, for my well-being, and those that I love and care for. Oh, I got it covered up with the Celtic dog. Holy. You couldn't get a fucking Viking on there? What? A Celtic dog. Some food from Maine. A Celtic dog, bro. Not even some fucking Irish American from Boston is getting a Celtic dog. Do you not hear the dog whistle? This fool voted for Kamala Harris. He voted for Kamala Harris. You don't got to tell us that you're going to be door knocking for her. There is nothing that would get Hasan Piker off his ass to do such a crazy mobilizing event like that. To door knock. At this stage, homie's too fucking rich. Mind you, Grant Platner is talking about addressing the recruitment crisis. All you have to do is go to their fucking not Ruben Gallegos platform. All you have to do is go to their fucking webpage. All you have to do is go to their fucking, they tell you. No more pointless wars. Yeah, fucking right, bro. Look, we'll click on this. No, that sounds nice, huh? No more pointless wars. I will never, ever vote to send Americans into a pointless war. Everything we went through in Iraq can be laid at the feet of those in Washington, like Senator Collins, who knew better but voted yes on a disastrous and deadly war. Homie, you boycotted this war in high school and then signed up for it to get your rocks off. That's what you fucking did. That's who you fucking are. Let me see here. Because this shit's going to keep pissing me off. Yeah, that's fine. So you believe this? You're out of your mind. Because here's the real thing. Pay service men a fair wage. No more servicemen on food stamps. Men and women in our armed forces often make far less than they would as civilians. We have people serving in armed forces, people who may one day be asked to make the ultimate sacrifice, making poverty wages. Poverty wages are for the fucking coward civilians unwilling to lay their lives on the line for empire, baby. Let those motherfuckers have 2-3 jobs. Servicemen willing to inflict carnage and death upon civilians of other countries, they gotta eat good. If we are serious about addressing the recruitment crisis, you're telling me an anti-war candidate is concerned about addressing the recruitment crisis? Should we not be celebrating this shit? We will take some money out of these ungodly contractor and bureaucratic salaries. Oh my gosh, what a fucking populist. Oh, he's going after the big cats. To do what? To pay the rank and file a fair wage, meaning to entice people to use financial gain to entice people to join the fucking military and address the recruitment crisis. Imagine calling it a fucking crisis. We should be celebrating this shit if you're truly anti-war.
You're looking at a guy who's fucking pro-Medicare for all, anti-Zionist, anti-genocide, anti-fucking militarism, and you're like, puh, literally calls himself fucking socialist. Got the deal.
Right before he lies, let's go through it. Grant Platner has never called for the end of the Zionist entity. Grant Platner has never called for the decolonization of Palestine. So how the fuck is he anti-Zionist? How the fuck is he anti-Zionist? See, these people can just redefine words in real time. But hey, he's for Medicare for all. And you see the continued normalization of national socialism being pushed by the Bernie crowd, by the Bernie-crats. To say that he's anti-military, when on his fucking platform, do you really think Hasan Piker has read Grant Platner's platform? A multimillionaire paid to cover news 8 hours, 7 days a week. Do you think he's actually read Grant Platner's platform? Either way, either it proves that he did do his homework, read it, and is lying to you, or that he's too fucking lazy and doesn't give a fuck enough to look it up and is just willing to lie. We'll go back to it. We'll go right back to it. Anti-military. Where is it at? On his platform, take on waste and corruption at the Pentagon. Massive waste in procurement. A revolving door between the Pentagon and the massive defense contractors. Widespread consolidation encouraged by deliberate government policy to the point where competition has virtually disappeared in many vital areas. Competition. He's saying, hey, there's contractors out here who are in cahoots with the Washington establishment that aren't allowing mom and pop shop military contractors to compete. How do you, as a military contractor, compete? By offering more efficient, less costly death machines. That's what it is. There is no disputing this. If you are competing for a military contract, you are offering more efficient death machines at a cheaper price. That is what competition means in this regard. How the fuck is that anti-war? And he said this when questioned about working for Blackwater. Grant Platner said, it wasn't Blackwater. Blackwater didn't exist by the time I was around. Partly because it got bought out by one of these larger contractors. So he was working and contracted for as a mercenary by a company that bought Blackwater, but technically not Blackwater. And he literally said, Graham Platner said, I believe this was on The Lever, maybe even Breaking Points. But he cried about there not being enough competition because these companies are eating out and absorbing the others. Read between the fucking lines. This is a legacy of several decades of disastrous mismanagement and profiteering at the highest level of the American military. We need to take the funds currently paying for mansions in Virginia and Maryland for defense contractors and reinvest them into closing the massive shipbuilding gap. And that is a reference to China and their shipping and their shipbuilding outpacing that of the United States. Why the fuck are you concerned about the shipbuilding gap if you're actually anti-war? Unless you want to make sure that the Navy has enough ships to compete against China when they square off. That's the only reason you would be talking about a shipbuilding gap as an anti-war candidate. He says, I've seen under the hood. I've seen under the hood. He's bragging. He's bragging about his military service, about his time as a mercenary. He's using it as credentials. I know exactly how much is wasted and where. Send me to Washington. Vote for me, he said, and I will work tirelessly to rebuild the American military. How the fuck is that anti-war? In what world is you saying, I will work tirelessly to rebuild the American military, anti-war? We should be working tirelessly to dismantle it. Lang, the Twitch chat saying, say no more pointless wars is not anti-militarism. Shutting down the military-industrial complex, shutting down all our foreign bases, and cutting military spending is. And see, I would call that a moderate approach. I would call that a moderate centrist approach. I would have my criticisms, but I'd be like, hey, you know what? Headed in the right direction. But you're not wrong. See, no more pointless wars is what does it mean? It's just a slogan. It's just a fucking slogan. What makes a war not pointless? With a point? What makes a war with a point? And understand, these wars are not pointless. These wars are to secure resources. They're for geopolitical, not just insurance, but benefit. That's what they're for. They're not fucking pointless. They're not, these are not people just being like, oh yeah, just fucking go take each other out. They have a purpose. They have a point. And that does fundamentally benefit the United States. It might overwhelmingly benefit the capitalists and the most rich. But there's a reason why we have a labor, I always struggle with this word. I was doing all right this stream. Autocracy? Aristocracy? Always struggle pronouncing them. You get my point. There's a reason for that. I'm not over here preaching Reagan fucking trickle down economics. But we do fundamentally benefit from it. There is a level of comfort that we're able to achieve from it. And yes, thank you, labor, aristocracy. Sometimes I got to see it. Thank you. But there is, and that's what National Socialism pushes. That's what Bernie Sanders, Grant Platner, Hasan Piker are pushing. I don't know. I mean, he spells it out. He spells it out. That's the real frustrating part. Let's go back to it. Right before he lies again.
Fucking pro-Medicare for all, anti-Zionist, anti-genocide, anti-fucking militarism, and you're like, puh, literally calls himself fucking socialist.
You know what? We'll do it with your uncle. We'll do it with your uncle. We'll demonstrate what a fucking liar you are with your uncle.
I want to get to your policies.
The need for us as a party not to get common ground are really focused on. And I understand the question, but
You know, and next time we'll talk. I'm glad how definitively you said it. But if you had to describe yourself as something, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole you into just a phrase or a word, so you can expand upon it. But would you call yourself a Democrat, a left-wing, progressive, populist, economic populist? What are you?
I would say that I'm a working people's populist.
I've said it time and time again, populism in a settler colonial project adheres to the needs and demands of the settler. Populism in a settler colonial context adheres to the needs and demands, the wants of the settler. The reason the Zionist entity will not grant Palestinians equal rights is because they need to have a numerical majority so that no matter what rights you give Palestinians that may remain, nothing they do politically through the right channels will alter anything to a significance that will challenge the existence of the Zionist settler colonial project. Why do I know this? Why am I saying this? Because that's exactly what happened here. Until it was safe to do so, until there was enough European bodies occupying land where you granted rights, until it no longer threatened the capitalists and the colonizers. That's when they hand you your civil rights. And I know it may sound dismissive. Oh, they didn't hand it to us. We fought for this and that. Yes. The propaganda worked so well that you were fighting for something that they felt safe enough to give. But they had to pull back. They had to act like it's a struggle for it in order to make you think that you're fighting for something worth your time, value, and sacrifice. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I truly, the core of my politics is that we need to build a movement. We need to build popular power with people. It's the only way we're going to fight the money. We'll never outraise them. We don't have enough. They've got all of it. But we do have people. And
yeah. There's another point here, but it's just strange, no? It's just strange that he did not call himself. This was in October of last year. It's just weird that he didn't call himself a socialist. That's fucking odd, bro. Isn't that weird? That's communist, I think it says. That's at the beginning. That's not what we want. Ba, 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 ba. Where are you at? Here we go.
but in the Reddit comments, you said something about communism. So I was just wondering, are you a Nazi or a communist?
Yeah, the political trajectory that my
Fucking yapping. Fucking yapping. He's gonna cry. These are white tears. Can you believe what they're putting me through because of the words I chose to fucking type?
Communist.
Yeah, the political trajectory that my opponents have put me through has been quite. There's a lot of whiplash there. Consistency does not seem to be their strong suit.
Motherfucker, consistency is not your strong suit. I'm an anti-fascist with a fascist symbol. I've been fighting fascism my whole life, but I don't know what one of the most prominent, third most prominent Nazi symbol is. How is that consistent? I'm anti-war, but I want to address the recruitment crisis. How is that consistent? I'm anti-war, but I want to work tirelessly to rebuild the American military. How is that consistent? Oh no, he wants to rebuild it in a better way, in a positive way. A settler colonial military cannot be reformed. Why does that need to be said? Can you imagine Hasan Piker coming out here and being like, no, we need to reform the IOF. Just wait for it. It'll happen. These people are not anti-colonial. They're not advocating for decolonization. Just wait for it.
On this front, I am neither a Nazi or a communist.
There's a third way. There's a third way, bro. I am neither a Nazi or a communist. Surely then he's a socialist.
I have never been, in fact, either one. I have been a dedicated anti-fascist since I was a kid. I mean, I grew up listening to Dead Kennedys and the Dropkick Murphys.
Whoa! The Dead Kennedys and the Dropkick Murphys. What a fucking badass. Yeah, bro. We all went through a fucking, I hate saying the word, cringe phase. Dropkick Murphys are trash. Absolute fucking trash. Dead Kennedys, whatever, bro. Whatever. But I'm biased against punk. That's just probably me. How are you? First of all, he brags about since I was a kid. Since you were a kid protesting the war in Iraq and then joined it immediately after? At least you're consistent, unlike your opponents, right? What is it with white people and the Dead Kennedys? Politics are pure aesthetics to them. How do you feel about the Caifanes? Homie, what do you mean, how do I feel about the... What do you mean, how do I feel about the Caifanes? What do you mean? How do you think I fucking feel about the greatest Spanish-speaking rock band known to fucking man? When I first saw them, I had a fucking religious experience. What do you mean, how do I feel about it? Compa, what do you mean? Chale, fuck. You should know the answer to this.
And have had a distinct hatred of Nazis my entire life, which makes all of these attacks, I mean,
I hated Nazis so much. I hated Nazis so much that I became one, an American one.
Frankly, all the more insane. And I'm also not a communist, although on the internet, when I was getting in arguments with people, I would sometimes refer to myself as that, but clearly in jest.
I have a real job. Or he's too fucking lazy counting his millions. Like when he's on stream 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, he didn't see this clip that his former company and his uncle conducted this fucking interview. Now somebody's gonna say, "Oh well, he's a socialist, not communist." He doesn't claim that shit either, homie. And understand that these fucking liberals interchange this shit. It's malleable to them, depending on where they're at. They don't know the fucking difference.
With people, I would sometimes refer to myself as that, but clearly in jest. If anybody read them instead of just jumping onto them. I'm neither. I'm a United States Marine, and
He's defining himself as a United States Marine. Thank God he's anti-war.
I also think people should have health care. That tends to be where I fall.
Yeah. So look,
a United States Marine that believes that people should have health care. And how is that not National Socialism? Maybe that's the type of socialist that's not meant. My bad. I was wrong. My apologies. My apologies. But we're not even here for these lies.
Fucking militarism, and you're like, puh, literally calls himself fucking socialist. Got the DSA endorsement early on. Got the
DSA endorsement early on. Chat, do me a favor, if you can. Can you please Google DSA Grant Platner? If you're in the comments watching this later, please tell me what pops up when you Google DSA Grant Platner. Because if you got the endorsement from the DSA early on, it should be fairly easy to find, right? I'm asking because I could be wrong. I'm asking because my research skills may not be up to par with this white man's here. I'll give y'all a second.
I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race.
Main Democratic Socialist of America. You know, the cute little moose over here. I like this. This is adorable. I like this. A moose is a type of animal you kind of want to see, but also know how fucking terrifying they are. If you're smart, and you shouldn't approach them or be anywhere near them. But I became really, I don't know. I remember I would watch a lot of animal documentaries. And there was, because of global warming, and believe me, there was a reason why I don't talk about it that much. I know we talked about it a little bit last stream. It is, for me, when I start talking about it, I sound like if I've given up, and that's not my intent. I'm just too fucking jaded and too much of a realist. So I try not to talk about it too much. And maybe that's a fault of mine. I just don't know how to form those conversations in any other way. But unfortunately, because of global warming, the tick season is lasting longer now. And so it's gotten to the point that some of the moose are literally essentially being eaten alive by ticks because it's so hot now. And they have no way of getting rid of themselves of these ticks. I'm sorry. I know that's kind of a gross and sad shit to bring up. But all I'm saying is when I saw the moose, I was like, oh, that's adorable. That's cute. I really like them. They're a very dorky looking animal, you know? They're like our version of a giraffe. At least that's how it is in my mind. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad, man. We should be taking care and creating an environment and a world where, with consideration to their population size, you know, animals can live fairly peaceful lives within their unpeaceful, you know, natural habitats. All right. Dan's back. Hasan's #1 simp is back. We love it. So we go here. Main Democratic Socialists of America. me go over here. About us, platform endorsement, Portland, Midcoast, a political. Oh, sorry. Endorsements. We go to endorsements. Endorsement, referenda, statewide. Maine DSA has endorsed no on one. Save absentee voting for November 2025 election. Okay. Maine DSA has endorsed yes on 2 extreme risk protection order for the November 2025 election. Okay. Portland, Maine. DSA has endorsed yes on a 19 an hour minimum wage for the November 2025 election. Oh, okay. Endorsed candidates. Now we're going to see Graham Platner here. Endorsed candidates. Romana Theme, 2025. Brunswick Town Council District 6. West Pelletier, 2024. Portland City Council District 2. Endorsement information. To contact our Portland local campaign committee to request endorsement, contact blah, 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 blah. I reached out to them. I haven't heard back. It hasn't been long since I reached out, but I want a confirmation. Maybe this is outdated, but this is 2025. This is 2025. You know what? Sometimes it's really difficult to get people to update your webpage. You know what isn't difficult? Updating your social media page. Okay, cool. Again, this is not difficult. I'm not doing any fucking research that is extraordinary. So, Maine DSA. Now, you would think that if you endorsed a Graham fucking Platner, he would be in the top or near the top of your page. I mean, they updated this, stop the war on Iran, on the 28th of last month. Again, I'm here to be proven wrong. I'm here to be corrected. Graham Platner. Well, then I've just been booted off. But we saw what we needed to see. Let's try one more time here. Maybe they tagged them. Well, I can't see it. Maybe they tagged them here. No, they didn't. So again, please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Correct me in the comments after this if I'm wrong. But from what I've seen on their main page, what I've seen on their social media page, the DSA in Maine does not appear to have endorsed Graham Platner. How? Let's make it even easier. I'll do it for you. DSA Maine, Graham Platner. Endorsement. Interesting. I'm not seeing it. All right. Let's put this. Did DSA Maine endorse Graham Platner? Nope, I'm not seeing anything here. Ruben Gallegos. Okay. You know what? We don't like AI over here. But sometimes you need to be spoon-fed. I'm sure Hasan Piker does. AI overview. Based on available reports as of March 2026, there is no public record of the Democratic Socialists of America, DSA, Maine chapter endorsing Graham Platner for the U.S. Senate. Why fucking lie for a war criminal? What is the purpose of this? What is your goal? What is your objective if not to normalize supporting these fucking animals? These
Like, puh, literally calls himself fucking socialist. Got the DSA endorsement early on.
Does not call himself a socialist and did not get the DSA endorsement early on, later, or yesterday. So why the fuck are you lying to tens of thousands of people that rely on you ignorantly, foolishly, for news? They trust you because of the character that you play. And you're outright lying to them multiple fucking times about verifiable information. You can make the argument early on that, hey, you know, it's how you see things. Maybe the way that he's tirelessly working or wants to tirelessly work to rebuild America's military is different. We could have disagreements there. I am so confident in my fucking positions. I'd be like, all right, let's agree to disagree there. Maybe he has a vision of a utopian U.S. military. All right, let's go with that. But we know for a fact he does not call himself a socialist. And we know for a fact he is not endorsed by the DSA. He was not endorsed by the DSA early on either. But I'm more than happy to be corrected. But from the looks of things, Hasan Piker is lying for a war criminal with white supremacist ties. And you wonder why I hate these motherfuckers. Do me a favor, y'all. Go ahead and hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when I go live. It's Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. If you want to help the channel out, you can join the Patreon and get access to the Discord for as little as $2 a month. Super chats and super stickers are turned on. We do have YouTube memberships on. I need to work on that, figure that out a little bit better. Go ahead and subscribe to Deculturation Live. That just hit 1,000 subscribers. So I appreciate y'all. I'm going to start working more on that channel as well. Thank you for all the support. Sincerely and truly, I can't express, and I get a little too embarrassed, not gonna lie, to truly express my gratitude, but I really mean it sincerely. I appreciate all the help and support. And if you cannot help financially, I get it. Lo entiendo, está difícil. Get busy in the chat, homies. I want to hear from y'all. Call me out on my bullshit. Hold me accountable. I'm not out here crying about woke scold this, woke scold that. Oh, the woke. Oh, I hate the left. I don't fucking do that shit because I want to become a better fucking person. I want to become a better fucking ally. And I just want to be better. All right. And if you ever hear me talking down to myself, that's because I compare myself to the greatest. That's why. Because that's what I hope to achieve one day. That I carry myself and walk the walk of great individuals who have earned our admiration. And we should be looking to follow in their footsteps to the best of our abilities. Thank you. Are we done with this fool? Are we done with this fool? I hope we're done. I hope we're done with this fool. Let's see what's next. All right, we saw that. Okay, so this getting endorsed by Gallegos. Look at this motherfucker. Look at this pinche vendido cabrón. ¿De dónde es este güey? Where's this fool from? Tell me. I don't know. Let's find out.
And what are our country leaders doing? They're following Netanyahu, who has literally told us, he just told it on TV, that he's been trying to do this for 47 years. I know. I'd suffered the first attempt at this in 2005. And now America is suffering again because of it. There's a lot of ways that we could be supportive of Israel. There's a lot of ways that we could defend Israel's existence, its sovereignty. I'm 100% for that. But we don't need to go to war for them, especially when it's a dumb war. And what are our...
Damn, I like this guy. It's a dumb war. What are we doing? You know what? Democrats are turning me around, bro. They're against the war in Iran. That's fucking awesome. That's great.
America is hurting right now. I talk to Arizonans all the time. They can't buy a house. Rent is getting expensive. Food's expensive. And what are we doing? We're spending billions of dollars on a war of choice. A war of choice right now that this country does not want. What the people want, what the country wants, is a country that's going to benefit and look out for their benefit, not for other countries right now.
If the Pentagon asks for more funding for what's happening, would you support it?
I'm going to say that, in my opinion, I want to see at least 50% of that money has to come from the Gulf states and from Israel.
Bro, sounds like Donald Trump, bro. Do you not hear it? That's Donald Trump's argument. For NATO, for any fucking collaboration with military, it's like, hey, you motherfuckers have to pay up. And that's what he's saying. He is saying the Donald Trump line. He's saying, do you got ends or do you not? Are we in this together or are we not? That's what he's advocating for. Man. But don't worry, we have choices. We have choices. We have two political parties. They're not the same. They're not remotely the same. Please stop pushing that propaganda. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are in cahoots and are working for capital. Please do not spread these lies, these Bolshevik Marxist lies, that these parties are beholden to capital and empire. Please stop saying that, because there's a huge difference in how they treat their subjects. Please understand that. Allow them to pink wash, rainbow wash your suffering for their fucking benefit, because they're so fucking different.
We cannot continue to cut
So
Medicaid.
if the Pentagon comes to you and asks for more funding for this war, you're going to say 50% of it must come from those other countries.
Those other countries. We're using our stockpile. We're using our taxpayer money to protect those countries. At the same time, we're cutting Medicaid. We're cutting food stamps. People are hurting. You know, we cannot keep doing this. We use our treasure. We're using our men to protect these countries. They need to throw in and have skin in the game too.
Senator Ruben Gallego, thanks for joining us.
Look at his face. Look at his face. He's like, yeah, I sure told them.
And to protect these countries, they need to throw in and have skin in the game too.
Fucking shameless, Gavin. Shameless. I'll support them halfway. I'll support these wars halfway. So fucking brave. So fucking brave, man. Ooh, you know what? We gotta see La Reina. We gotta see La Reina herself. And all right. Let's hear it from Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, if the name didn't tell you everything you needed to know, now you know.
So, Congresswoman, what's your message to Americans who are concerned about another forever war in the Middle East?
Well, I think first and foremost, the reality that we have here is very clear. The vast majority of Americans are against a war with Iran. Two things can be true at the same time. We
know you're getting played the moment you hear that. When you hear two things can be true at the same time, please understand that they're telling you he's just a friend, she's just a friend. Know that you're being played the moment you hear two things can be true at the same time from these fucking liberals. I don't care if they're rad lips, progressives, damn socks. I don't give a fuck how they're rebranding this week. Please understand that the moment you hear two things can be true at the same time, you're getting played.
We can acknowledge the brutal reality of the Iranian regime and their murdering of protesters and targeting of people. And we can also know for sure that a forever war will not resolve that issue. We've seen what's happened in other areas of the Middle East, in Libya and Syria and beyond. Of course, the war in Iraq. And We are already at multiple American service members that are dead for an illegal action that the president has pursued with no plan out. They don't know why they got into this war. They're talking about 400 or 500 different reasons, and they don't know how they're getting out. They have plunged the world into major global instability. Things have never been more dangerous in many ways. And it is our responsibility to stabilize the situation and bring us back from the brink. And a war with Iran is not how we do that, and it's not how we accomplish anyone's goals.
Homie was tripping over her bullshit. She was bullshitting so hard that she had a trail oozing out of her of just straight fucking bullshit. That homie almost slipped. That is crazy. I mean, I would have taken the fall and just cashed the fuck out.
Not how we do that, and it's not how we accomplish anyone's.
That's how bad her bullshit is. That is crazy, bro. Her bullshit is so massive. Her bullshit is so fucking overwhelming that homie almost tripped over it. My God, the stench must be abhorrent. Abhorrent. What the fuck? You can't be doing that shit in public spaces, bro. That's disgusting. You know, she's more European than I thought. She is more European than I thought. Fucking Europeans would pay people, the ones that could afford it, the ones that were classy enough, to cover them while they took a shit on the side of the fucking street. Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez doesn't even have the self-respect, nor does she respect you enough to ask for a little bit of cover when she's bullshitting publicly. And it almost caused my homie's life. It almost caused the homie's life over here. Look at this poor gentleman. Look at this guy. He's like, oh my, he's looking over. He's like, oh my, is she just shitting out there? Is that what's happening? Is she defecating in public? And he's bewildered. He is so bewildered by her bullshit that he doesn't realize that he's about to step on it.
That, and it's not how we.
That's how bad it is. That's how disgusting it is. And I'm sorry that I'm pointing this factual thing out to you. It's gross. It's disgusting. It's a little lowbrow, but it's the reality. I'm not making this up. I mean, he almost slipped on it. I don't know what you need me to do or tell you. But my thing is, her level of bullshit is so like just such an expert level of bullshitting that she doesn't even need to grunt. She doesn't even need to force anything out. She can lock eyes with you and just a diarrhea of the mouth. Never heard of it. God damn, un charco, way. Poor guy. I mean, his shoes are fucking ruined. I mean, somebody should have warned. They should have been a wet floor sign somewhere there. You know when the custodian comes around and sprays that little, like, the powder? Or sometimes they would use, like, the wood chips, too. If there was, like, vomit. Baking soda, something? I mean, where is this? In the Capitol? What the fuck is going on, bro? Somebody's gonna get hurt with all this bullshit Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez is spewing. We almost saw a real fallen soldier over here.
Not how we do that, and it's not how we accomplish.
Ay, güey. Ay, cabrón. That's. Am I wrong? Is that not? Are we not watching? Are we not seeing what we're seeing? I didn't notice it. I didn't realize that a patriot's life was at risk once again at the Capitol. Holy fuck. Oh, yeah. Well, Yipper, you're not wrong. Yipper says, well, the Capitol is full of shit. Espresso depresso, am I wrong though? Jesus, man. Wear your fucking rain boots when you're around AOC. Man. But again, this all implies that she will, and the Democratic Party will, run shit more efficiently. That's all that they're pushing. That's all that this is. She's like, they give you 500 reasons. We give you one solid reason. Do I know this who's... Yeah, wow. So this leads us to this piece. How liberals support Trump's war against Iran. And you think I'm fucking lying? Do you think I'm lying? Do you think Black Agenda Report isn't about it? Then you're fucking wrong. I'm sorry to tell you this. Wrong-o. Here we go. Let's see here. Boom. I really gotta go back to the old settings. Because even the chat's a little too large, not gonna lie. Okay, so here we go. From Politico. We're in it. Democrats won't rule out giving Trump more money for Middle East war. No, I gotta adjust this, y'all. My apologies. No, not that. We'll do this first. Nice. And then we'll do, this second. I appreciate y'all's patience. Old man, take a look at my life. I don't know how to use a computer. All right. Some Democrats aren't ruling out voting for a multi-billion-dollar military infusion, setting up a potential internal clash in weeks ahead for a party whose political base is aghast at President Donald Trump's aggression against Iran. The Trump administration's top defense and intelligence officials told lawmakers this week that the Pentagon could soon send an emergency supplemental funding request to the Capitol. Bro, they're going, man, wouldn't that be nice to just be able to be like, send a supplemental request? Man, that'd be great. I'm a little jealous, not gonna lie. They didn't offer a timeline or a dollar value. Blank check, baby. But the White House is reportedly, mulling a $50 billion ask. Fucking A, bro. A $50 billion ask. Wow. Wow. That is wild. Actually, we're all the way over here. God damn it, bro. Oh, there we go. That's how we fix that. That's a massive sum on top of the more than $990 billion Congress has shelled out for defense capabilities in recent months between the GOP's Big Beautiful Bill and the latest government funding package. To pass any new military funding measure through the Senate, the support of at least 7 Democrats, what do we say? There's always a cute little number for them to fill, will be needed to overcome the filibuster. It's far from certain the votes are there. Good luck. What Democrat is going to vote to fund an illegal war? Senator Chris Murphy said Wednesday, I don't think, with the exception of one Democrat, there will be any votes for it. And of course, they're talking about the big goof. You appear to be referring to Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, who was the only Democrat to oppose a separate Iran war powers resolution and has routinely broken with his colleagues on government funding votes. Oh, damn, is that far off? Okay, no, it's not. Democrats also want to stay disciplined around their campaign message heading into midterms, arguing that Trump has abandoned his central campaign promise to keep the country out of prolonged wars and bring down costs for Americans. Quote, you lie to us, don't consult us, and then expect us to send more taxpayer money to a war that we shouldn't have started with no plan and no answers. That's Pat Ryan, a combat veteran of the Iraq War. The Democratic Party, baby. Anti-war at its finest. He called reports of the $50 billion request outrageous. But this is not the universal position inside the party. Several Democrats, it'll definitely be 7, that's for sure, on the Senate Armed Service Committee aren't ruling out supporting more Pentagon funding. That includes the panel's top Democrat, Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island, as well as Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, Tim Kaine of Virginia, who was supposed to be the vice president, right? Who you should have voted for, right? And Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan. A White House emergency funding request could force Democrats to choose between rebuffing the president. Is it rebuffing? Or thinking about anyway, let me not get distracted. We don't have a lot of time. Correct me in the chat. The president and turning their backs on legislation the administration deems necessary for replenishing key defensive munition stocks. Defensive, baby. Designed to keep U.S. troops and civilians safe. There's awareness among many Democrats that Trump has thrust the country into a conflict, and now Congress has no choice but to help keep things on track. Quote, I need to know the goals and the plan. I don't rule anything out, said Slotkin. We're in it. Lawmakers in both parties are also concerned that the bombing campaign and the effort to defend U.S. personnel in the Middle East could quickly deplete stockpiles of precision-guided missiles and air defense interceptors that are critical for national security priorities elsewhere around the globe. The bullshit. The Pentagon and defense industry have struggled to speed up production of expensive munitions, which are in high demand in the Middle East, Ukraine, and in the Pacific. No, I know rebuffing means to reject, and I'm wondering if I said it right. Rebuff, rebuffing, huh? Thank you, Linstack. Where are we at? Okay. We have to look at what they need, said Reed, the ranking member of the Senate Armed Service Committee. Some of it might be to fill in critical issues and other theaters of war they've been taking things from. There's a possibility a spending package for the Iran conflict could be tied to other priorities. There we go, baby. Which could make it more palatable to some Democrats. Lawmakers were talking Wednesday about attaching Ukraine. Fuck me, bro. Fucking holy shit. I got it. Isn't it fucking great? Isn't it fucking awesome? When are we going to vote for them? When are we going to vote for the Ukrainian? The poor grunt Ukrainian soldier. Oh, that wasn't smart. All right. Oh, it's getting too warm in here, yo. Where the fuck is that? I still haven't managed to find any fucking way of getting some fresh air in this new spot. So here we are. I don't even know. All right. Where are we at? Others are eyeing relief for farmers, a key priority for Republicans in agriculture-heavy states, as well as wildfire disaster aid Democrats have long sought. I think it comes down to you're going to have a number of things in there to get a critical mass, Senator John Hoeven said Wednesday. That doesn't mean all Democrats are prepared to give Trump a blank check for military action in Iran. Many who left the door open to voting for a supplemental funding package said the administration would first have to provide Congress with more information about the offensive. That includes rationale for striking Iran, a commitment to avoid putting boots on the ground, and a plan for ending the conflict. I'm so fucking sick and tired of hearing boots on the ground, bro. That just translates to saying we want to make sure that American soldiers aren't dying while we kill, pardon me, while we use enhanced interrogation methods against foreigners. That's all that's talked for. And with drone warfare, that's become more and more of a reality. Rebuffing. Now that you know that this is legit, we'll get to this. How liberals support wars against Iran by Margaret Kimberly, Bar executive editor and senior columnist. Where are we at? I want to make sure y'all can see all this. Yeah, I think that's good. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. All right. I don't like Trump, but Iran is bad is the siren song of feckless liberals. This moment calls for condemnation of the U.S. and unreserved support for the Iranian people and for their state. Dun dun dun. The plan to destroy the Islamic Republic of Iran has been the settled U.S. policy ever since that state was founded in 1979. In the U.S., Democrats and Republicans alike have embarked on plans for assassination, crushing sanctions, frozen funds, cyber war, and military attack. Even the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, popularly known as the Iran Deal, signed by Barack Obama in 2015, was an effort to strengthen those Iranians who were more amenable, to being within the U.S. orbit. Its signing was followed by military assistance for Iran's enemies in Saudi Arabia to carry out a war against Yemen in a regime change effort against Iran's ally, Syria, which ultimately succeeded in 2024. The so-called 12-day war of June 2025 between Israel and Iran was a dress rehearsal for what the US and Israel hope will be a successful regime change operation. It was clear from the recent increased presence of US warships and fighter jets in the region that the Donald Trump administration and its Israeli allies would strike, and so they did on February 28, 2026. But there was another attack on Iran after the 12-day war. It took place in January 2026, when what the US has meant was a sabotage of the value of the Iranian currency, created economic chaos and popular anger. Trump administration officials openly bragged about creating the crisis and confirmed the presence of Mossad agents who joined Iranian agent provocateurs in setting fire to schools, killing police officers, and taking part in other actions of violence. US backed NGOs provided unsubstantiated death tolls of up to 30,000 people. And we've seen this time and time again. We've seen this time and time again, especially when we're talking about Mossad. But we saw that in Venezuela. We saw it when Banpanal was crying about all the people that Maduro mass murdered and mass disappeared. And of course, having to defend his beautiful white Argentina. In the process, you see this all the time. They put the blame on these regimes, right? They put the blame on them when what colonizers want more than anything are just bodies in the streets. That's all they want, bodies in the streets. The truth was not difficult to find for anyone who was really interested in getting the facts. While the New York Times claimed that ragtag groups of activists communicated via the Starlink system, Elon's, right? The Wall Street Journal exposed what was obvious to anyone who was really paying attention. The US smuggled 6,000 Starlink kits into the country, which aided the provocateurs in spreading war propaganda. Iran has been demonized so thoroughly that only a small number of the most staunch anti-imperialists are willing to discuss the revelations about external sabotage efforts or will defend the right of the state to defend itself. Liberals who erroneously think of themselves as leftists, the people I fucking talk shit about, the people I fucking go after, I can't write like this. I gotta do what I can. Are as bad as the most devoted regime change cheerleaders in their equivocations, which in the final analysis lead to support for war crimes. War propaganda has worked very well in depicting Iranian leadership as evil incarnate, theocrats who oppress women and torture opponents. Even as US sabotage creates an economic crisis, the state permitted protests and met with labor unions and shopkeepers impacted by the manufactured currency crash, making commitments to address the crisis. While Westerners judge societies based upon whether women wear short skirts and don't have to cover the hair, according to the United Nations report, Iranian women make up more than half of all university students, and literacy rates for women have more than doubled since 1979 revolution. These facts don't count when people who think of themselves as being well informed instead choose to follow war propaganda inculcated by their political leadership. If you're not wearing a fucking skimpy bikini, then are you truly free? And again, this is all, I never want to conflate my positions in terms of opposition to white feminism. And I never want to diminish agency of women in Iran. But the fact is that the fetishization that, the West, that Europeans have, the whole Orientalism of it all, fuels a lot of this. And again, shout out to Millennials for Killing Capitalism. Can I find it really quick? Because I got 30 minutes, y'all. But look, if you want to hear from smart people, you're in the wrong place. Was it day 5? Was it a day ago? Yes, I think it was day 5.
But then you bring.
But see, I caught this live, so I know homeboy over here dips off for a little bit and then comes back.
Lebanese people in general, us fighting with other.
Oh yeah, they play that yeah, so they dip out for a little bit and they come back, and I think they go on this. Yeah, see, I watch. I know my shit. All right, I'm a fan. Shout out to Jared. Is it here though?
I say because that was.
Sorry. We're talking about women's rights. I want to hear from the man. I'm a dumbass. I'm sorry.
It's happening. What's going on? The same thing that happened in Iran. They were too proud of their own involvement to keep up the charade, because the charade here, because I actually disagreed with something you said, Lara, which is like, you need it to be real. To the effect of like, astroturfed political campaigns don't, I don't want to say work or something to the effect of like.
Hold on. We'll be quick. I see the word indica. That's interesting. Because they made a good point. I've been noticing a lot of sexualization of just, Persian women in general, women from Iran. And it reminded me of this whole shit about the Latina belt. I don't know if y'all heard of that. So this whole meme about the worldwide Latina belt, and it's like all the women from these areas look similar and they're all like attractive, and it's literally just the objectification of women. It's fucking gross. And of course, this kind of, it's a very specific thing, at least for like Latin America, about fetishizing like mestizas, right? Because they're not talking about indigenous women when they reference this, right? At least not on this side. And the reason why I bring up the mestizo thing is because some of our similarities are based on the fact that, you had a lot of Moors and just Muslim countries take over regions of Spain and essentially intermix there. And so when the Spanish conquered and colonized the Americas, the so-called Americas, and mestizos, essentially were created through these sexual assaults, then you start seeing some characteristics that were initially normalized in this region after, that shared of culture. So that's why I'm bringing this up right here. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, because I don't remember any key words that stood out to me necessarily, because it was just an overall great breakdown. Am I too far back though? Does anybody see this? Does anybody see this? Does anybody let's see here. Is anybody a nerd like me that just watches all this stuff all day? I should be reading more is what I should be doing. All right. We'll get through this really quick. Well, my apologies, y'all. I mean, maybe if I type women in, I guess. Let's try that. Is it this part maybe? 174. No, it was way earlier than that. Yeah, I think it's this section here.
Compradors of a certain states. We don't like them. They look what they do. So that like this, the dream of this ethno state that Kurds will set up will be free, blah, blah, blah. Like ethno states are bad. We all hate ethno states. We don't like them. They look what they do. So the idea that anarchists are like advocating here for like a ethno state on behalf of one ethnic minority is such a farcical thing. And that's why the Clarissa Awards exist. They are translators. They are compradors of a certain class. And now what's interesting is that whereas before it used to be men, now women are mostly doing it. Women are mostly doing the hard, like if you look at all the Iranian like regime change op stuff, like of this round and like women life Zionism before that, like it was it's a ton of women who are leading it. Young, not even millennials, like young Zoomer women, even. Women are what gets shared, right? Like that's like you have to think like the imperialists, right? Women get shared more than men do. People like looking at women more than they like looking at men on their phones, at least. Maybe it's just
demo imperialism.
well, I can't. I mean, maybe you're saying, like, oh, Cena, that's just you because you're like a straight male, but I don't think that's
because you're a pervert, Cena. Because you're a pervert, Cena. When he was saying this, I'm like, homie's exposing himself. We know what his TikTok looks like. No. And all jokes aside, Cena seems like somebody that can take a joke. Look at Jared just fucking dying over here in the corner. Perverted old men. Perverted old men over here, bro. These are like fucking Mac daddies over here, bro. These silver fox over here, man. Trying to be sugar daddies is crazy. On the live stream, too. Oh, man. These fools make it tough for us broke younger men. Cena's absolutely correct. I mean, early on into the invasion of Gaza, you saw this influx of IOF female soldiers, you know, live streaming, taking selfies and photos, and it was obviously a psyop, 100% psychological operation meant to feminize this, fucking death machine that the IOF is, and also to entice men, preferably white Jewish men, to go and support. So to support the cause, or at the very least be sympathetic towards them, because now they're associating, attractive women with the victims of the resistance forces. 100% this. 100% this. And then poor Lara is having to sit through all this. Nah, she get it. All right, we gotta stop joking around. She gets it.
Demo imperialism.
Well, I can't. I mean, maybe you're saying, like, oh, Cena, that's just you because you're like a straight male, but I don't think that's true. I would bet the bank that more women also, like straight cis women, also share women more with greater frequency than they do men on this stuff, on like regime change stuff. And I remember, like,
well, because there's that whole, it's not as like women are just not perceived as threatening as men. And it's feminism if you're sharing and liking another woman, speaking truth of power in politics.
I remember the women like Zionism and all of these like nobody, like all of these like little creators, like 20-year-old nobody, like teenagers. Some of them are like, they would sit there with their face, that weird genre of TikTok video where you like look pensive and like pensive music is playing. It's like really thinking about her. And it's like, and then it cuts to some random.
Bro, Cena's hilarious. Acting it out is fucking funny as fuck, bro. Look at this. Y'all are complimenting my hair. Look at these little locks. Look at these fucking natural curls over here. Look at Cena. This is an intellectual that has the humility to play around and joke around like this. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. I don't know if Cena drinks or not, but a drink on me, Cena. We were running into each other.
Playing, it's like really thinking about her. And it's like, and then it cuts to some random.
But also, like Cena, you have to have kids, or at least like cool younger cousins or something, like nieces and nephews, or else how the fuck do you know this, bro? How does your old ass know this? What the fuck?
Iranian who's like martyred. Like, this is a farce. This is a farce. You live in the country that does all the bad things to its own people every day, any time of day at that time, someone is being tortured to death by your countrymen, and it doesn't bother you. But the algorithm, when you talk about Iran, likes you a lot. So this is the ultimate farce of this. So Clarissa Ward was involved in all the ridiculous stuff in Syria. She's the one who went to that liberated prison in Syria and interviewed the guy who turned out was a former fucking Assad government guy. It wasn't even true, and he was like faking it, and it was like the stupidest fucking farce. But here's the thing, guys, we keep thinking like, oh, no one buys this. People aren't supposed to buy it. They're not supposed to buy it now. It's just going out. It's just like they just are doing the same act that they've been doing the whole time, which is human rights trademark, human rights registered copyright. Like it's just they've kept this same scheme. And what's so fascinating is like it's like, okay.
Well, I will push back a little bit on this and say that younger people aren't supposed to be falling for this, mainly because they're not watching it. But there's still a big older crowd that is watching that. And there's still, you know, if you go to a sports bar, you're at the airport, something a little bit more generic, the dentist's office, they'll have CNN on, they'll have MSNBC on, they'll have something like that on, and you're passively consuming it, even if it's in the corner of your eye, especially those who don't engage in politics. That might be the only like moment in the year, in the calendar year, where they're actually like hearing about the news, where they're actually exposed to something occurring, and that's what they're gambling on, to just normalize this shit. They have to push it out there to normalize that type of narrative, even if the younger generation, even if the majority of people aren't believing in it either way. It's just there because it's like just part of the program.
Hey, what about Gaza? What about Gaza? Gaza doesn't count. So like they haven't adjusted the program that like lib imperialism has developed over the last, I don't know how many decades, the like regime change infrastructure of like, oh, we're worried about people X. Oh, we're worried about people Y. I hear there's a crisis. Oh, the people want the downfall of the regime. That like we saw in Syria unfold in years, right? Like that's what we saw in all of these countries, but that's.
All right, y'all can't compliment my hair anymore. Because we have Cena over here killing it, and I'm, look, Cena, no disrespect, I'm gonna guess 50s. I see the gray in the beard. I'm gonna guess 50s. And then we have Lara with, I need their routine. That's what I need. I need their routine. Jared, I love you. If I grow a beard, I would ask for your routine.
That's the thing. Like in Iran, you have a state that is far more able to deal with the real threats that these projects paper over. Okay, so when I say women life Zionism, am I shitting on some Iranian shit libs who aren't Zionists per se, who are angry about mandatory hijab? Yeah, okay. But the reason why I call it women life Zionism is because it was appropriated by Zionists openly, clearly, and pushed by them. And so when that happens to your...
Stop. Pepe. Stop. My bad, Tina. My bad. But yes, Lada's got a mane. I'm jealous. I need the conditioner, the shampoo. If we're doing a mask, I need to know that too. The life of an academic intellectual is rough, you know? All right, let's keep it moving. I hung out a little bit too long there and put my foot in my mouth. There we go. So where are we? All right. These facts don't count when people who think of themselves as being well-informed instead choose to follow war propaganda inculcated by their political leadership. Liberals engage in endless examinations of Iran that always find it wanting, yet find it difficult to speak up when Israeli drones and bombs killed at least 170 students and staff at a girls' school in the city of Minab. Despite the claims that an Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps rocket misfired, all evidence shows that the bombing was deliberately carried out by the US and the Zionist entity. Equally false were assertions that a military installation was located nearby and was the actual target. There hasn't been such a facility near the site for at least 10 years. And in any case, a school is protected during wartime, as are hospitals. Yet in Gandhi Hospital in Tehran was also struck by the US and or Israel, just as hospitals in Gaza were targeted. The I support the Iranian people, but not their government crowd didn't have much to say. And the thing is here too, when you start making that weird distinction, especially now, who the fuck do you think is organizing, proactively engaging with defending their people? And you know, this in a lot of senses, the best defense is a good offense, right? So their offensive is defensive because they're responding to attacks. Who is doing that? The fucking government. They're not like, hey, we're just concerned with our military bases. We're just concerned with, you know, our installations and protecting capital. If y'all want to kill 170,000 students, go right ahead. We don't care as long as you don't target the infrastructures and people at the top. They're doing both. And so the government there is doing their best to protect their people, their citizens, and that includes, you know, being offensive, excuse me. But we've heard their fucking misfire propaganda before. It's always a misfire. It's always a misfire. Right. Islamophobia and Orientalism. Orientalism. There you go. Islamophobia and Orientalism. I butchered it. Orientalism. There we go. Islamophobia and Orientalism make it easy for liberal Westerners to pretend to oppose war as they condemn Congress for not demanding approval for the military action. Yet, they also feel obliged to add their uninformed opinions that Iran is a terrible and backward country in need of salvation from liberal keyboard warriors who, in fact, know little about the country. They are uninformed precisely because they consume nothing but state-sponsored corporate media reporting. Decades of war propaganda depicting Iran as the home of a cruel, irredeemable regime have done their job. Liberals can pat themselves on the back for criticizing Trump while also backpedaling and condemning a state that poses no threat to the people of this country. They cling to disinformation from Western-funded NGOs that work in collusion with state-sponsored corporate media and make unproven claims about death tolls. While Iran is condemned even as it fights against nations committed to destroying it, there is very little condemnation of the attackers. Does Iran bomb hospitals and schools? Is Iran committing genocide by starving thousands of people? Has the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for its leaders? Does Iran assassinate Israeli leaders? Does Iran have immigrant children locked away in detention? But this is all whataboutism, right? And that's all whataboutism. When you have the same level of criticism to these settler colonial projects, the US and Israel, the Zionist entity, it just becomes whataboutism. Iran has done none of those things, but its enemy is powerful militarily. Controls the global media, and is home to monarchists who want to return with the Shah's son, Reza Pahlavi, in power. Pahlavi publicly proclaims that he is willing to do trillions of dollars in business with the US. The media give him attention and promote monarchists living in Europe and the US who will get rich along with him and who are not at risk of being bombed. Hundreds of thousands of Iranians turn out in Minab to mourn the children killed by the US, while a handful of anti-government operatives are treated as if they are the majority population. Unfortunately, while Iran has lived on to fight another day and has successfully struck Israel and the US assets in the region, their enemies are strong militarily. The decapitation strike assassination of Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and other officials were intended to be the end of the state. Instead, Iran has undertaken strikes of its own, targeting puppet states such as Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain. Bahrain. While dozens of people in Pakistan not only took to the streets against US and Israeli aggression, but actually fired back at Marines in the US, consultants and the consulates, in the US consulate and the embassy, liberals in the US worry endlessly about whether women do or do not have to cover their hair. As always, millions of people may object somewhat when witnessing the criminal acts of US presidential administrations, but many others also indulge in thinking that ignorance is bliss, or that their nation is exceptionally good, or that Muslims are undeserving of life, liberty, or the pursuit of any happiness. The end result is outright support or passive silence. Jeez. 100% that. Yeah. In 2009, Brookings Institute paper entitled Which Path to Persia? Options for a New American Strategy Towards Iran spells out the continuity of the US agenda from administration to administration. Quote, the best way to minimize international opprobrium. What is this? Opprobrium. The public disgrace arising from someone's shameful conduct. Oh, I like that. The public disgrace arising from someone's shameful conduct. That's nice. You know why I like learning new words? In hopes of using them to talk shit.
Opprobrium. Opprobrium.
Opprobrium. Opprobrium. Nice. The best ways to minimize international opprobrium and maximize support, however grudging or covert, is to strike only when there is a widespread conviction that the Iranians were given, but then rejected, a superb offer. One so good that only a regime determined to acquire nuclear weapons and acquire them for the wrong reasons would turn it down. Gangster ass fucking shit. You would only turn down an offer that you can't refuse if you want that fucking smoke, if you want those negative consequences. Hence, the fake negotiations were meant to convince the public that Iran cannot be trusted, given the animus already existing against that country. There is little real opposition to Trump or any other president. There are a few who are willing to assert that Iran has the right to exist and to defend itself, and that its people have a right to live free of fear of being killed. While the number of true anti-imperialists remains small, their role is of great importance. People in the US must not only defend the lives and the rights of Iranians, but also defend that state, too, lest they also succumb and in the process collaborate with the war criminals. Damn. Sheesh. I mean, Margaret Kimberly is fucking icon, bro. Do I like the people she fucks with? Nah. Do I love her work? Of course. This shit was wild. Can y'all guess how hard I was laughing? Look at this. Pop goes the weasel. Y'all thought I was gonna be rooting for this motherfucker? Do me a favor, y'all. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe. If you haven't already joined the Patreon, it's a good time on the Discord. Super chats and super stickers are turned on, and welcome. The Cash App is up and running. This shit was too good. I appreciate all the support. Subscribe to Deculturation Live. Get busy in the chat. Don't be scared, homies. Look at this. Look at this. And apparently, was this a senator or a congressman? Joins in. And look at this shit. Pop goes the weasel. Look, I had to play a little nice for two reasons. One, apparently this fool is a Green Party candidate. Don't give a fuck. Y'all thought, nope, don't fucking care. I don't support war criminals, whatever party they're running in. Two, they're making it worse, which is fucking hilarious. Two, homie does not yell, like in pain. Homie does not scream, like no tear. Do you know what I would have been doing? He was a senator. You know what I would have been doing? Forget when it popped. The moment that they starts clamping on that shit, bro, I'm fucking crying. I'm a bad atheist. I'm pleading to the Lord. You know why he didn't cry? Motherfucker is a trained killer, bro. He has heard the cries and scream of so many fucking innocent people that he is incapable, psychologically incapable of expressing pain because of the countless pain that he has caused others. So no, if this fool really is a Green Party candidate, fuck them too. What are you doing supporting and endorsing a war criminal, bro? You think it's just Grand Platner I don't fuck with? Oh, you're showing up? Oh, you're showing up in your Marine fucking Corps fucking uniform over here because you think it's going to carry more weight? And what are you crying about? Well, here right now. He didn't cry out in pain, but he was crying out because it's not America first. This is Israel's war. No, it fucking isn't, bro. Stop with this Zog fucking bullshit. Now we're doing this on the behest or on the behalf of the Zionist entity. No, we're fucking not. We're doing it because it benefits us first and foremost. Oh, I do want to see them scrap though. Grand Platner versus this fool. That would be dope. Fuck, then I would have to choose the lesser two evils, right? Then I'd be down to play that dumb little liberal game. But you got to give them time to recover. That's at least a 6-month, recovery time. But I wonder what their stats are. And of course, Grand Platner is not even, Grand Platner's gonna be like, well, I'm just an oyster farmer.
Out. No one wants to fight for Israel.
His hand. Oh, his hand.
Do you hear that pop? Homie, you get stage fright when you got to speak up in the crowd. Can you imagine having to stand up and protest and then just be like, pop? Did you motherfuckers think that I was going to be sympathetic to this fool? Fuck up. Do the other arm too. Show us you're really about it, homie. That is wild, bro.
Let go of your hand. Let go of the door.
These fools are saying let go of the door. Homie, his hand is inserted completely in there. He couldn't if he wanted to.
Only go of the door. The senator broke his hand. A sitting U.S. senator just broke the hand of a Marine.
Dubs, bro. Imagine being a senator for probably dodge fucking military service being like, snap or tap. Snap or tap, homie. Tap or snap. If I was a senator, I'd be like, did you see that? Fuck everyone involved, bro. Fuck it. I'm a real hater. I don't gotta choose a fucking side. Oh, what he's doing is brave. What is he doing? Spreading fucking conspiracy theories that we're fighting for Israel. No, we're fucking not. We're fighting for U.S. fucking imperialism. We're fighting for U.S. interests. Stop with this fucking nonsense. If we're doing it for Israel, grow the fuck up. We're the big fucking dog in the yard. We're not doing shit for anyone else if it doesn't benefit us. Fuck out of here. Stop trying to point the fingers at other fucking people. It's on us.
Sir. Control your Senate! Aren't stuck in the door. Okay, sir. A U.S. Senator just broke the hand of a Marine! Hands stuck.
All right, this part is like an SNL bit. It's stuck. That's some office ass shit right there.
Hands stuck.
Like he's just so calm. Like even in these situations, broken hand and all, these motherfuckers. I mean, anyone, regardless of who you are, Marine or not, you have to like walk these pigs through the most simple fucking anything reality through the my hand is clearly fucking stuck. You think I broke it because I didn't want to let go? It was stuck and so it popped. All right. So he's like, bro, it's stuck. Like common fucking sense, it's stuck. But these pigs are chosen because they're fucking meatheads. Maybe if I just keep pulling harder.
Hands stuck. A U.S. Senator just broke the hand of a Marine. You're a coward. Punk. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Why do you...
Yeah, all right. I do like this guy though. He's like, you're a coward. I think he calls him a punk. And he goes, yeah, go fuck yourself, bro. But again, nobody helps out the homie, right? I'm not my homie. They're a homie, apparently.
You're a coward. Punk. Yeah, go fuck.
Oh, he says, you're a coward, punk. Go fuck yourself. All right. Like, I'm not going to claim this fool, but he does look a little... Maybe it's just a slick back hair. So it looks like a little bit like a vato. All right.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Why do you say that? Go fuck yourself. That's why you got kicked out, fat ass.
Everybody sit down, please. Sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please. Everybody sit down, please.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please. Is your hand okay? Okay. No.
Is your hand okay? No, this is a skit. Fuck it. This is fake. I'm not buying this. Actors, crisis actors, all of them. Give that motherfucker a raise. Whoever asked, was that a journalist? Give that fool a fucking raise. I want him in Barry Weiss's CBS tomorrow, bro. Nah, that level of fucking trolling. The way that I would snap my arm off just to smack fool for asking me that. That's some god tier fucking rage baiting, bro. And I applaud it. Fuck it, bro. Fuck it, bro. Are you okay? Is your arm okay? Can you wiggle your pinky for me? Look, I don't even think like he's probably like the adrenaline is probably numb. He doesn't feel it. But bro, like, I'm glad he's being fucking put through this. Like, at least the psychological shit of being around all these fucking idiots. It is just like a grain of sand in the ocean of repent, of the beach of repent that he needs to fucking go through for his fucking war crimes.
I'm getting out of here.
That's fine. Everybody sit down, please. Is your hand okay? Okay. No, it's not.
This is disgusting. Disgusting.
Just pull it out.
Disgusting.
I have to. I try to be a good person, and I try to be better. But phrasing, bro. Phrasing.
Disgusting.
Just pull it out.
she says it's disgusting, and then he's like, just pull it out. Man, what is that movie called? The one with Dave Franco? Is it Together? Yeah, Together. Spoiler alert, great fucking movie. I didn't really care for the ending, but like 98% of the movie is really good. There's a scene that is so fucking traumatizing in that they should fucking, if you're like pro abstinence out here, show it to the kids and say that this is a documentary. But again, we are mature here. We are mature. All right. Linsack over here being the party pooper. Just watch the movie together. It's a good fucking movie. Literally, like the last scene, it was just unnecessary. It was unnecessary. No spoilers. I don't do spoilers. I hate spoilers. I don't do spoilers. I didn't say it. I didn't give any. You might like the end of the scene. I don't know. Linsack, gross body horror movie. Okay. Amazing body horror movie. Done right. Also, The Substance, if you haven't seen it, beautiful fucking movie. Beautiful fucking movie. All right. I think I'm going to leave this for tomorrow. I do got to head out. I'm really, really excited to read this. Iran and Psychopathology of White Supremacy by Baraka. It's going to be dope. It's going to be a good time. We'll read this tomorrow. It's a little bit longer read. You know, I get distracted. Doesn't matter. I'm going to reference random stuff. Look at this. I mean, it's just great. Everything about this is already fucking great. Okay, well, stranger, you are permanently banned from the chat. Look, I don't even like horror movies, and The Substance was amazing. A good, amazing reflection on the internal crisis of aging and what that means, not just to your value as you're seen externally, but your internal value and how you internalize your worth based on your physical beauty. All that stuff is just amazing. It gets a little Looney Tune-esque, but I think it was a great homage to a lot of the horror movies that kept me from embracing horror. It said wow. I don't understand. Forgetful Stranger. Wow, that is astonishing, man. Vacuous shit, it said nothing. I mean, if that scene when she's about to go out on a date with who she saw as a dork when, they were younger, and she's reapplying her makeup over and over again, and just, I mean, if that didn't fucking move you, homie, I don't know what to tell you. Does it get goofy towards the end? Yeah, but I think that's when it starts being more playful with the genre. But yeah, man, I mean, it didn't say anything is astonishing. I mean, there's literally a billboard of what we're told is her better version facing her the whole time. And telling you that the more that you try to invest into your youth that is no longer yours, the more that it eats away at you. Right? Yeah. Does it get goofy? Of course. It's silly as fuck. Well, of course it doesn't, though. The Substance is spectacle. It doesn't respect its own message, in my opinion. Of course it doesn't. Which works even, like, I think it adds to the message in the sense that you can't even abide by what you're saying because that's how overarching that truth is. If you get what I'm saying. Again, I don't like spoiling movies, but it's an amazing movie. Linsack is weak stomach. Linsack, what are we doing here? Did you see Hamnet? I enjoyed it. You're gonna be crying though. No, I wasn't really. I heard that I should watch it. I wasn't really invested in going to go see it. I didn't like the name. I'm weird. Um, little things would just keep me or make me dislike shit. I hate the fucking name Hamnet. Hamnet. What the fuck is that, bro? And I'm like, I'm not watching that shit. Forgetful Stranger, you're gonna make me start taking like you're gonna make me start taking fucking like come jump on the Discord and debate me. But instead of anything worthwhile, it's just gonna be like movie and media takes. That'd be fun. Something more playful and shit. Ain't nothing serious over here anyways. All right. Brittany, I cannot get into David Lynch. I started watching Twin Peaks. I liked the first season. I tapped out the second season. I can't get myself to like his movies, David Lynch. Oh, but you're saying in terms of what it was paying homage to. Oh yeah, 100%. I recommend it to a homie of mine who's obsessed with like the worst horror movies. Like he loves all that shit. And like he won't watch. It took him forever to watch The Substance. Hasn't watched Together. Like any good horror movie, like Talk to Me, he hasn't seen. Mind you, I'm not a big horror fan. But all the slop, like Terrifier, all that shit, like he fucking first one to watch it. It's unbearable. It kills me inside. That we're even friendly. But yeah, David, I've avoided watching Fences for so long because I'm just like, bro, like you gotta know, like it's just too much. If I would have known more about Iron Claw, I would not have seen it. All right, so we're just Forgetful Strangers, a K-pop fan. Wow. All right. We got to get to it. There hasn't been any movies that I've been really interested in watching lately, so I'm going back and watching older stuff. Like I mentioned, I just watched Drive My Car, and that was beautiful. Became like my favorite movie. Recommend that one, but I got a couple that quite a bit that I need to watch. Ooh. No. Forgetful Stranger. If you're advocating for K-pop Demon Hunter, which is essentially a K-pop musical, you're co-signing K-pop and all its anti-blackness, by the way. That's how it works around here. I've said too much. All right. Daka doing what movie? Substance or Together? Because Together was so fucking awesome. But there's a couple. I know Dr. Ball was with who was Dr. Ball just speaking to? I'm forgetting their is it Samantha? I don't want to feel bad. I'm saying their name wrong. What? We're getting I'm missing out on that because I yap too much. Is it Samantha Yusuf? I'm so bad with names. My apologies. Yeah, Samantha Yusuf. All right. I'm not the worst. I know they're going to be doing like a little series, like a watch along as well, or something along those lines, just a breakdown. I'm really excited to know whether I should watch It Was an Accident. I've heard like good things. The Green Knight. I've been meaning to watch The Green Knight for so long. So long, man. Because I remember for a little while, I read a couple short stories about like King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. And when I was way younger. And I remember reading the story about the Green Knight and being fascinated with it. So when it came out with, is it Dave Patel or what's his name? Yeah, Dave Patel. When it came out with Dave Patel, I was really excited for that. Slumdog Millionaire, I watched way after it came out and I really enjoyed it. But it was his movie Lion. That is just, man. Lion is really good. Obviously, the whole adopting thing is it's fucked up, but Lion is a really, really great movie, man. Lion is great. Was Monkey Man any good? I've been wanting to watch that. Did not watch Chappie. Hotel, did not watch that. That seemed like propaganda slob. I didn't watch it. The Last Airbender up there with Dragon Ball. That's one of the worst adaptations. Anywho. No, I haven't seen that one yet, David Barnes. All right. Where are we at, yo? I gotta dip out. I'm already late. We have Emblem Faith advocating for Marty Supreme. I had tickets to watch a special screening of it. The 70mm screening. And it was gonna be quite a drive, but I was excited for it. And then I saw the shenanigans that this fool was up to and promoting it. And I was like, nah. Because if you're promoting it in the context of the movie and that character that you're playing, I'm there. I'm all right, dope, I'm with you. But once you start promoting like your film with unrelated things, it makes me feel like you're not confident enough in the film and the context of the film that you need like other shit to highlight it. Lighthouse, been meaning to watch for a second. I watched like the first 5 minutes of it, and it was just too late. Like I threw on the movie way too late. So once I realized the pacing that it was, I was like, nah, like this is gonna be an amazing performance by both fucking amazing actors. Let me just hold off on this. But again, love anything that Willem Dafoe does. He was great in the Norseman as like the shaman. Act of Kindness, his range is amazing. And then obviously Robert Pattinson is now my Batman. I don't give a fuck about Christian Bale. Do not give a fuck about Christian Bale. Robert Pattinson is the only fucking Batman that's ever been. So good. All right. Let's get to this. Let's actually do this. I didn't get a chance to do it last time, so we're gonna do it now. Appreciate all the recommendations. The Boy and the Beast with is that with Idris Elba? Was that a movie or a miniseries? Yeah, but yeah, I'm running late. All right, cabrones, cabronexes. I appreciate y'all. Remember what Glenn Ford said: organize with eyes wide open. My apologies for not getting to the Beast yesterday, but here we are. By John Tudell, The Beast. In a wisp of smoke down on the corner, there was this cat named Fortunate Lee, talking at me from voices in his head, yelling about what Storyteller said. You gotta be careful here, child. There's a beast in the promised land. There's madness you don't understand. The beast is crazed and running wild. Little boy, man, little girl, woman, no big deal. Nothing personal. Your mind's another meal. Savoring the rush of you like heady wine, feeding is what the beast is meant to do. Strange are those walls built to hide, stranger to look and learn not to see. He's in the mask you put on your face. Thoughts, his favorite breeding place. In the race to midnight, it's after 11. The nature of the beast is all he knows. Behind doors of hell are gates of heaven. Doors are open, but the gates are closed. Yes, Duval.